Okay, welcome. It's November 11th after hours. On the left here, we're looking at SPY. As you can see on SPY, value and the point of control have moved higher, while on QQQ over here looks a little bit more neutral with value really not moving, point of control moving slightly higher. Let's move on over to the charts. We are looking at SPY on the hourly chart. SPY did make a higher high and a higher low today. So that is good on the bullish side. What are we looking at going forward? A couple different possible paths. One, pull back to here to continue higher, back towards all-time highs, I believe. Uh, Another path, if we come back below here, catch a lower high, probably looking at going back to the top of the gap. At that point, buyers could step up at the top of the gap again, or if we go into the gap, this is where potential danger kind of steps in because we really do want to hold 673.45 for the bulls. So we really need to hold this level right there. If we get back below here, then, that would basically set up a gift for the Bears, opening up a potential path for them to get back involved in this market. So that's really what's important over here on SPY. We'll move on to QQQ. So as stated earlier, QQQ was more neutral today. We do have an inside candle on the daily chart. Um, It tested the top of the gap that held. That is good for bulls, obviously, that it held. And on QQQ, if we do end up going into this gap, because semiconductors still can't kick it in gear tomorrow, we really want price to stay above this 612.50 for the bulls to stay in control of this market. If we get any lower highs below that, then bulls are in trouble, essentially. Um, so that is what we're looking for on QQQ. I only took one trade today. That was MU. I haven't looked to see what it did through the rest of the day. Let me switch to a smaller time frame so I can show exactly where I entered, how I came to the conclusion. Let's move left a little here. All right. So as you can see on QQQ, and this was a trade I did in yesterday's video, was a gap fill then reversal. So we got the gap fill. It came into the gap, and then we had this inside bar. I took the break of the low of this inside bar off this big red bar, with my stop being above VWAP, which was way up here. So I took that down to 240. Not even near 242.11, somewhere down there. It did give a little more, then gave a double bottom, started moving back up, and came back down. It basically filled the entire gap. Then ended the day with this nice bullish 2-minute bar. So will we get the gap fill reversal tomorrow? Will it move to the upside as a result of filling that gap? So that would be what I'd look for going forward on MU. Yep. So moving on. Another trade idea from last night was to look out for a gap fill and reversal on NVDA and to be very mindful of the 20 SMA. So the NVDA gap did start to fill today, and buyers stepped up right on a 20 SMA. So I think that was good advice to watch out for that on that gap fill. Moving forward with NVIDIA, So what I'm looking at on NVIDIA going forward is probably higher low above 194.15 to continue higher. Um, the other way to possibly get there, you know, fill the gap and then get a gap fill reversal. Moving on to Microsoft. Looks like Microsoft recaptured this important 506.50 level today. It is important. Why? Because when you look at the daily chart, oh, this is a lot of lines, but when you look at the daily chart, you can see we have all this overhead supply at 506.50. It was able to recapture that today. Let me get back to this hourly chart. And when it broke above, it did not give us a failed breakout, which is different than what a lot of names have been doing recently. So that is good as far as that goes. What can we look for with Microsoft going forward? Going forward, I see a couple possible paths, this being one. Then watching out for shorts right here near the 20 daily SMA, near 515.45. Could possibly go back short right there. Or the other path I see, if we happen to fail this 506.50, lower high above, continue back down for another short. Moving on, let's take a look at Apple. Apple was finally able to break above this 273 level today. So what we want to see in order for that trend to continue would be, I drew that wrong. One moment. Would be probably a pullback to this previous high right here, 274. Buyers step up and we continue for new all-time highs. So if we can get a pullback to 274 and see the buyers are stepping up, should and could be good for a long trade. Moving on to Google. On Google, we were also able to break to new highs from this level without it being a failed breakout. And we actually just barely created a new all-time high on Google. So going forward, what we would want to see is very simply break to new regular hour all-time highs, higher low, target this overnight all-time high. Moving on to Meta. On Meta, it looks like we're possibly building out this inverted head and shoulders reversal pattern. So maybe the selling off is coming to an end. I am not ready to say that is any kind of definite thing yet. I am not ready to get involved on Meta yet. But if it can get above here, give us a higher low, it might be good to start looking for longs at that point after an inverted head and shoulders completely plays out. Moving along to Tesla. Tesla fell below the 440 level today. Um, uh, if it can reclaim 440, I would look for something like that. If it's unable to do that, and instead gives us something like say something like this, and I would take it back short towards the low day today. Moving along, Palantir. Looks like the previous idea of a pullback long off this previous bounce high at 187.25 worked well. So going forward, we are looking for my pencil disappeared. We are looking for essentially a break into this gap, a higher low, and then a gap close. If and when that happens. If we, for some reason, end up back down here, that sucks for Palantir, but you might be able to start looking for a gap close, respecting this 20 SMA. And let's take a look at Robinhood. On Robinhood, looks like it's just hanging on to this 20 SMA. Started to create a lower high, maybe. I'm thinking the best idea here is if we get a lower high below this 130, 115, shorting to this first target here, lower high below that, back down that way. Really good drawing, I know. I am a true artist. That is all I got for today. Have a good one. Use code STRATEGY at strategyforgejournal.com so you can journal your trades and have a nice piece of software. It can help you improve your trading. There was a problem with that website with being able to sign up for new accounts. That problem has since been fixed. That's all I got. You have a good one, and I will see you on the next one.
Always one pip away!
There I was, a struggling trader,
Climb, baby!
always on the edge of almost becoming profitable, but still making the same mistakes day in and day out. My mom always nagging at me.
Do something with your
Finally,
life.
I discovered technical analysis wasn't
I've
the
been
problem.
doing this for years.
Trading
I know
psychology
it's not
books
gonna
were
work.
not the
I need
problem.
better
I was the
self-discipline.
problem. I wasn't tracking my data and using it. This kept me in a losing loop. Then I discovered Strategy Forge, a journal that had custom tags, built-in artificial intelligence analysis, strategy playbooks, smart goals, and all the analytics I would ever need. Finally, I could afford that diamond grill I always
From
wanted.
edge dweller to bling boss, strategyforgejournal.com.
Use code STRATEGY for your first 6 weeks free or 3 free months on an annual plan. Act now. This deal won't last forever. Go to strategyforgejournal.com. That's strategyforgejournal.com and use code STRATEGY